Alright, here's the next page of our worksheet, and we're going to tackle a couple concepts. This whole page, we're just setting things equal to each other. That's how we're going to solve. So here they tell us that the segments are tangent to the circles. They want us to find each indicated length. Well, the indicated length over here is IG. It's this piece right there. And if these things are tangent and they come from the same point, notice they come from the same point here, then I know they're equal. They're equal. So again, like I said, all we're doing is we're going to set this equal to each other. Okay, so 2x equals x plus 12. And we're just going to do some simple algebra. Okay, so we just subtracted the x and got x equals 12. And then we're just going to plug that back in. So we're doing 12 plus 12, and we get 24. So not bad, just setting things equal to each other. Over here, they want GH. Right? GH is this piece right here. Well, again, these are tangent, both tangent, and they come from the same point. So I know that they're equal. And so x plus 10 equals 2x minus 1. Okay, we're going to subtract the x over here. Okay, and then we're going to move the non-x terms to the left. Okay, so we get 1x left, and 10 plus 1 is 11. So x is 11, and then we take that, we just plug it back in. So 11 plus 10 is just 21. All right. We look down at number 9. Number 9 has 4 parts, but they're all asking the same thing. They're asking us to find some angle or some arc or some chord. Okay, and for here they tell us that these two things are congruent. And if the arcs are congruent, we know that their their central angles are also congruent. All right, they want to know what's this angle here. I want to know what's QPR. What is it? Well, if these are congruent, we can just set them equal to each other. 4x plus 25 equals 5x. Subtract that 4x over. We get x equals 25. And then once we do that, we can just plug that right back in. Right? Just plugging it in. So 4 times 25 plus 25. It's 100 plus 25. So the measure of the angle is 125 degrees. Don't forget those units, degrees. For B, 9b, okay, they tell us that these two angles are congruent. Well, if the angles are congruent, then we know the arcs are congruent, and we also know that their chords are congruent. Okay, we have all these three things kind of go together. So if these two things are congruent, we can find y. Y plus 4 equals 2y minus 3. Subtract a y. Cancels there. Then I'm going to add 3. Cancels there. And get 7 equals y. Now they wanted us to find wx. Wx is this chord right here. So then we just take y and we plug it in. So 2 times 7 minus 3, or 14 minus 3. 11 centimeters is our units on that one. Okay, 9c. They tell us that the chord QR, here's our chord QR, is congruent to the chord ST up here. Well, if these are congruent, we know that these arcs are congruent. Remember, they have that special relationship. We also know that the central angles would be congruent, right? If we had an angle down here that spanned like this, which the angle exists, they just didn't draw it for us, that central angle would also be congruent. So we don't need that information to solve this one, but we're just remembering that as a definition. So if these are congruent, I can find x. 3x plus 22 equals 4x. So I'm subtracting 3x, and I get x equals 22. Now they didn't want x, they wanted the measure of QR. So I'm going to take that x, I'm going to plug it in. So 3 times 22 plus 22, or 66 plus 22, which is 88 degrees. And remember that arcs are measured in degrees. And last but not least, letter D. They tell us that this angle is congruent to this angle. Well, then we know that these chords are also congruent. They're the same. So we are going to do 2y plus 5 equals y plus 13. And again, we're just solving for y here. So y equals 8. Okay, and they want GH, so we're going to take that y, I'm just going to plug it back in. So 2 times 8 plus 5, which is 16 plus 5, which is 21. They didn't give us units on this one, so we don't need units.